The space station was quiet, too quiet. Captain Ryan was just walking down the metal hallway when he heard it. A sound, soft, but strange, like something alive, and watching him. He turned. She was standing there, an alien girl, tall, silver, eyes, cat-like ears that twitched when she looked at him, her lips curved into the smallest smile. She leaned forward and whispered two words, a deep purr. Ryan froze. His heart skipped a beat. What did that even mean? But the other aliens, nearby, they stopped what they were doing. Some stared, some backed away, like they had just seen something dangerous happen. Ryan opened his mouth to speak, but the alien girl took one slow step closer. "You will understand soon," she said softly. Then, the station lights flickered. A deep alarm began to echo through the halls. And in that moment, Ryan knew this was only the beginning. The space station floated in the endless black of space, its silver rings turning slowly. Inside, the halls were long, clean, and bright. Most of the crew walked quickly, focused on their own tasks. But for Captain Ryan, it was a quiet moment between duties. He enjoyed these short breaks, walking alone, hearing nothing but the soft hum of the station's systems. Then he heard something unusual. It was not a voice. Not exactly. It was soft, low, and strange, almost like the sound of something alive and very close. It reminded him of the faint hum of an engine, but warmer, almost alive. He stopped and turned his head slowly. She was standing there. Ryan had seen many alien species during his years of travel, but never one quite like her. She was tall and graceful, her skin a soft pale shade that seemed to glow under the station lights. Her silver eyes caught his attention first, deep, bright, and focused entirely on him. Two pointed ears sat high on her head, covered in fine fur that twitched slightly as if they were listening to something only she could hear. Her long hair shimmered like liquid metal, moving gently as if touched by an invisible breeze. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then her lips curved into a faint smile. She tilted her head slightly, studying him the way one might study a puzzle. When she finally spoke, her voice was soft and smooth. A deep purr, she murmured. Ryan blinked. He felt his chest tighten, and for some reason, his heart skipped a beat. He had no idea what those words meant. They were in standard translation, but still made no sense to him. What?" he asked, confused. She only smiled a little more, as if his question was amusing. Around them, a few aliens in the hallway had stopped what they were doing. Some turned their heads to watch, others stepped aside and moved quietly away, their expressions unreadable. Ryan noticed the change in the air, the way the space seemed to shift. It was as if something important had just happened, and he was the only one who didn't understand it. The alien girl took one step closer, her eyes never leaving his. She spoke again, her voice softer now. "You will understand soon." There was a kind of certainty in her tone that made Ryan uneasy, yet strangely curious. He wanted to ask her what she meant, but before he could, the station lights flickered. A deep, rhythmic alarm began to echo through the halls. The sound was steady, urgent, and unlike any alarm he had heard on this station before. Round them, the other aliens moved quickly. Some glanced at him and the alien girl before disappearing into nearby rooms. A few whispered to each other in low tones, throwing nervous glances their way. The girl didn't look alarmed at all. If anything, she seemed calmer than before. Without warning, she reached out and gently took his wrist. Her touch was cool, almost like water, but steady and firm. "Come," she said quietly. Ryan hesitated for only a second before following her. She moved gracefully, almost gliding through the hall, her steps quick but never hurried. She led him down a side corridor that curved away from the main traffic of the station. As they walked, Ryan tried again. "What does deep purr mean?" She glanced at him but didn't answer. Instead, she seemed to be listening to something, perhaps the alarm, or perhaps something else entirely. Her ears twitched again, and her silver eyes seemed to reflect a light he couldn't see. They passed a group of uniformed station guards. The guards' eyes followed them, their expressions sharp. They didn't stop the girl, but their gaze lingered on Ryan, as if they were measuring him for something. The girl ignored them completely, pulling him farther along the corridor. She stopped in front of a door that looked different from the others. It was older, less polished, with faint markings carved into its frame. She placed her hand on a small panel beside it. "You are not safe here," she said, her voice still, calm but carrying a weight he couldn't ignore. Ryan frowned. "Not safe from what?" Her gaze softened slightly. "What hunts me will soon hunt you too." Before he could process her words, the door slid open with a quiet hiss. Inside was darkness, no lights, no movement, just black space beyond the doorway. Ryan couldn't see anything, but he had the strange feeling that the room, if it was a room, was far larger than it should be. He looked at her, waiting for an explanation, but she only stepped inside and turned to face him. "Come." She repeated. Something about the way she said it made him follow without question. As soon as he stepped inside, the door closed behind them, shutting out the light of the corridor. For a moment, Ryan could see nothing. Then, slowly, faint lines of glowing symbols appeared on the walls around them, pulsing gently like the rhythm of a heartbeat. The air felt warmer here, carrying a faint scent of something floral, yet unfamiliar. The girl walked ahead, her movements unhurried. Ryan could hear her steps, light and soft against the floor. The strange sound he had heard earlier, the one that had caught his attention, returned. It was coming from her. He opened his mouth to ask again about the deep purr, but she glanced over her shoulder and gave him a look that was both reassuring and unreadable. "You will understand," she said again, but not yet. Ryan felt a mix of curiosity and unease settle in his chest. He didn't know where they were going, or why she had chosen him, but he could sense something important was happening, something that would change everything. Far away, the alarm still echoed through the station. And deep in his mind, Ryan wondered if his life had just taken a turn he could never undo. Ryan's eyes adjusted slowly to the dim glow. The walls around him were alive with soft, shifting light, the strange symbols moving like gentle waves. Each pulse seemed to match the rhythm of his own heartbeat, and that made him uneasy. The alien girl walked ahead without hesitation, her silver hair catching the faint glow. She glanced back at him, her expression calm, almost too calm for the situation. "Keep walking," she said softly. "The station is not safe for you now." Ryan wanted to argue, to demand answers, but something about her voice made him stay quiet. The corridor ahead bent sharply, leading into a narrower passage. The floor beneath their feet felt different here, warmer, as if the place itself was alive. He noticed how her ears kept moving, tilting slightly in different directions, like she was listening to sounds he couldn't hear. Every few steps, she would slow down, glance at the walls, then continue as if she had confirmed something. Finally, Ryan found his voice. "What's going on?" "Why me? I don't even know you." She stopped and turned toward him. For a moment, she said nothing. Then, with that same mysterious tone, she answered, "You do not know me, but I chose you. That is enough for now." Before Ryan could press further, the ground beneath them trembled ever so slightly. It wasn't strong enough to knock him off balance, but it was enough to make the symbols on the walls flicker. The alien girl's eyes narrowed. "They're already searching," she murmured. Ryan's chest tightened. "Who's searching?" She didn't answer. Instead, she reached out and pressed her palm flat against the wall, the symbols nearest to. Her hand flared brighter, and with a low hum, the section of wall in front of them slid open. Beyond it lay another chamber, round and taller than the hallway, with a single path stretching into the distance. She stepped inside quickly and motioned for him to follow. The moment he crossed the threshold, the wall closed again, sealing them in. The air here was warmer still, carrying the faint scent of flowers mixed with something sharper, like the ozone after a lightning strike. They walked for a while in silence. Ryan couldn't help but notice that the deeper they went, the more the corridor seemed to hum with energy. The lights were faint, yet he could see without difficulty. At last, he tried again. "Back in the hallway, when you said deep purr, what does that mean?" Her eyes softened for the first time since they met. "It is a bond," she said quietly. "One that cannot be broken. A bond with me." She gave a small nod. "Yes, and because of that, you are now part of my path, whether you wanted to be or not." Ryan felt a mix of confusion and unease. So this bond, does it mean I'm in danger? She tilted her head slightly, considering her words. It means you will be noticed. Some will welcome you because of it. Others will not. Before Ryan could respond, the walls around them pulsed brighter, and a faint vibration ran through the floor. She stopped walking, her eyes darting toward the darkness ahead. They're closer than I thought, she whispered. Ryan looked into the distance, but saw nothing. Who? What are you talking about? Instead of answering directly, she turned to him and spoke in a voice just above a whisper. When we reach the next chamber, do exactly what I tell you. No questions. He wanted to protest, but something in her gaze told him this wasn't the time. They moved faster now, her steps light and precise. The corridor began to curve downward, leading deeper into the structure. The air grew warmer with each step, the hum in the walls now steady and strong. Somewhere ahead, a faint light flickered, not the soft glow of the symbols, but something different, sharper. The alien girl slowed, holding out a hand for Ryan to stop. They stood in silence for a long moment, listening. Then she turned her head slightly, her ears twitching. It's here, she said simply. Ryan swallowed. What's here? Her silver eyes locked on his. The reason I brought you with me. Before he could reply, a shadow moved across the light ahead, long and fluid, disappearing just as quickly as it appeared. The hum in the walls faded for a moment, as though the place itself was holding its breath. The alien girl straightened and began walking toward the light. Ryan followed, his pulse quickening, each step bringing them closer to whatever was waiting ahead. They reached the edge of the chamber and stopped. The space beyond was larger than he expected, with a high ceiling and walls covered in more of the glowing patterns. In the center stood a single raised platform, and on it, something shimmered faintly, its shape shifting like smoke and water. Ryan opened his mouth to ask what it was, but the alien girl lifted her hand to silence him. Watch, she whispered. And remember, this began the moment you heard my purr. Ryan stepped cautiously into the chamber, his eyes adjusting to the glow that filled the space. The air was warmer here, almost comforting, yet there was an undercurrent of something that made the hairs on his arms rise. The walls curved high above, their surfaces alive with shifting lines of light that moved like slow rivers. Each pattern seemed to breathe, fading and brightening in a rhythm that felt almost alive. The alien girl walked ahead, her steps quiet. Against the smooth floor, she moved with purpose, as though she had been here before and knew exactly where to go. Ryan followed, his gaze drawn to the shimmering form on the platform in the center. It wasn't solid. Its edges swirled and bent, sometimes forming shapes that almost looked like hands, other times dissolving into curling streams of light. What is that? He asked in a low voice. She didn't look back. A gate, she said simply. A gate to where? To where you will understand. Her answer only deepened his confusion, but there was no room for more questions. The hum in the walls grew steadier, stronger, almost like the sound of a heartbeat that belonged to the station itself. Ryan realized the vibrations in the floor matched that rhythm. As they reached the base of the platform, she turned to him. Her silver eyes reflected the moving lights around them, giving her an almost unearthly glow. Step onto it, she said. Ryan hesitated. Why me? Because the bond was made, she replied softly. Because the purr was heard. This place will answer to you now. He looked at her for a moment longer, searching for any sign that she was joking, but her expression remained steady, calm, and certain. Taking a slow breath, he stepped onto the platform. The instant his foot touched the surface, the shimmering shapes shifted. The swirls of light moved faster, coiling around the edges of the platform like streams drawn toward him. The air thickened, warm and almost humming against his skin. Ryan turned to ask what was happening, but the girl had stepped back, watching intently, her ears tilted forward, catching sounds he couldn't hear. Then, somewhere far behind them, a soft sound echoed, not the alarm from before, but something lower, longer. It was not loud, yet it seemed to travel through the walls themselves. Ryan couldn't tell if it was a voice, a signal, or something else entirely. The alien girl's expression tightened slightly. It's close. What is? She stepped toward him, her tone calm but carrying weight. The one who can sense the bond. Before Ryan could ask more, the shimmering surface beneath him shifted again. The lights twisted into a spiral that stretched upward, creating a faint image of stars, planets, and unknown shapes in the air above them. Ryan felt a strange pull in his chest, like a quiet voice was urging him to step forward into that spiral. He looked at her, unsure. "Not yet," she said quickly. "If you step through now, you will not return the same." Her words sent a shiver down his spine. "Then why bring me here?" "To show you what waits," she replied, her gaze fixed on the shifting lights. "And to remind you that the Purr was not a greeting, it was a choice." Ryan felt the meaning behind her words, though he still didn't fully understand. The way she said choice made it sound less like something he had made and more like something that had been made. For him, the hum in the walls changed again, becoming deeper, heavier. Somewhere in the darkness of the far corridor, movement stirred, faint at first, then more certain. The shifting lights above the platform seemed to sense it, their patterns quickening. Reacting to something unseen. Ryan stepped down from the platform instinctively. "What's coming?" Her eyes met his. "What comes is drawn to me, but now it is also drawn to you." The air felt warmer, almost too warm now. The girl moved closer to him, her voice low. "When it enters this chamber, do not speak. Do not move unless I tell you. Let it see the bond." Ryan swallowed hard, the weight of her words settling over him. The faint sound from the corridor grew nearer, slow, steady, deliberate. The lights on the walls dimmed slightly, as though the space itself was holding its breath again. He stood beside her, not knowing what shape or form would appear, but certain of one thing: whatever came next would be the moment. The mystery truly began to reveal itself. The sound from the corridor was steady now, not loud, but clear enough that Ryan could feel it through the floor. Each soft note seemed to travel through the walls and settle in the air between them. The alien girl stood completely still, her eyes fixed on the entrance. Her ears twitched slightly, as though she was measuring every tone. Ryan's heart beat faster, not from fear exactly, but from a deep, unshakable curiosity. Whatever was about to enter this room felt different, almost as if the space itself was waiting for it. The light in the chamber shifted. The glowing lines on the walls changed color, fading from their usual gold into a gentle silver blue. Ryan noticed the shimmering platform behind him react as well, its swirls slowing, stretching outward in soft waves. It was as if the entire room was adjusting for a visitor. A shadow appeared at the far end of the corridor. It moved with grace, each step unhurried but purposeful. Ryan could not yet make out its form, only the outline of something tall and fluid in its motions. The alien girl did not move, and Ryan remembered her instruction: no speaking, no movement unless she told him. The figure emerged slowly into the light. It was taller than Ryan had expected, its body covered in a soft glow that shifted and rippled, almost like sunlight through water. Its face was partially hidden by a thin, curved veil of light, but two deep, calm eyes shone through, meeting Ryan's gaze directly. The alien girl stepped forward slightly, not breaking eye contact with the visitor. There was no tension in her posture, only a quiet focus. The visitor stopped at the edge of the platform and tilted its head, studying Ryan. The room fell silent, the hum in the walls fading to nothing. Ryan felt as if time itself had slowed. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then the visitor's voice came, soft, layered, and unlike anything Ryan had heard before. The words were in no language he knew, yet somehow he understood them. "You carry it now," the voice said, directed at him. Ryan wasn't sure what to do, but the alien girl gave him a small nod, a silent signal to remain still. The visitor's gaze shifted to her. "You chose quickly," it said. Her reply was quiet, almost gentle. "The choice was already there. I only gave it a voice." The visitor seemed to consider this, its eyes flickering with faint light. Then it stepped around the platform, its movements slow, as if measuring Ryan from every angle. He felt a strange warmth each time it passed near him, not physical heat, but something deeper, a sense of being noticed in a way he couldn't describe. At last, it stopped directly in front of him again. The bond is not only heard, it said, it is seen. Ryan wanted to ask what that meant, but the girl's earlier warning kept him silent. The visitor gave a small, almost approving nod, then turned toward the shimmering spiral of light. Above the platform, its voice lowered, directed at the girl. It will open soon. When it does, the path will not be the same for either of you. Without another word, it stepped backward, its form blending into the soft glow of the walls until it was gone entirely. The hum of the chamber slowly returned, the silver-blue light shifting back to gold. Ryan exhaled slowly, realizing he had been holding his breath. He turned to the alien girl, his voice low. What just happened? She looked at the empty corridor for a long moment before answering. That was the one who sees beyond doors. They have seen you now. Which means, she paused, her gaze meeting his. The next step will come whether you're ready or not. Ryan didn't know why, but her words felt like both a promise and a warning. Ryan followed the alien girl out of the chamber, his steps echoing softly in the quiet corridor. The air felt lighter here, though the strange warmth from before still lingered in his chest. He glanced back at the doorway they had just left, half expecting the tall visitor to reappear, but the space was empty. Only the faint hum of the station followed them. The girl walked ahead without speaking. Her silver eyes seemed focused on something distant, something he could not see. Ryan wanted to ask her 100 questions, but there was a feeling that speaking too soon might break whatever fragile moment they were in. The corridor opened into a wide circular hall. Above them, the ceiling was a dome of glass, revealing the endless stretch of stars outside. Slowly turning rings of light floated above the floor, moving in perfect silence. The rings weren't solid. They shimmered and shifted like the patterns he had seen on the walls earlier, except here they formed symbols that hung in the air for a moment before fading. What is this place? Ryan finally asked. It's a map, she said softly, but not when you follow with your eyes. He frowned. Then how do you follow it? She looked at him, her expression calm but serious. With the bond. Ryan wasn't sure if that answer was meant to explain or confuse him further. Still, he stepped closer to one of the glowing rings. The moment he did, a faint vibration moved through the air, and one of the floating symbols pulsed brighter. It reminded him of the spiral above the platform in the chamber, but this one seemed personal, almost as if it was aware of him. The girl moved to his side. It responds to you now, wherever it leads. Only you can decide whether to step forward. Decide what, exactly? He asked. That, she said, glancing toward the far side of the hall, is not something I can tell you. The map will show you when it believes you are ready. Ryan looked at the symbols again. They didn't stay still. Each shifted gently, like waves rolling against the shore. Every few moments, a particular symbol would brighten, then fade, as if inviting him to notice it. When he focused on one, he felt a slight pull inside, almost like a memory he couldn't quite recall. The girl stepped ahead, motioning for him to follow. They crossed the hall to a narrow passage lit by a soft, blue glow. The air here carried a faint, almost sweet scent, different from the metallic dryness of the station's corridors. This passage leads to the listening room, she said. The listening room? Her ears tilted slightly, a place where the station keeps voices from before. Ryan felt a strange mix of excitement and caution. As they walked, the hum in the walls grew faint, replaced by something softer, a low, layered tone, almost musical, that seemed to shift whenever they moved. The passage opened into a small circular space. The walls were smooth and silver, but faint ripples of light moved across them, forming shapes that reminded him of faces, not sharp or detailed, but soft outlines, fading and reappearing. Ryan stood still, watching. The light shapes seemed to be moving in rhythm with the sound in the air, as if the walls themselves were speaking in a language he didn't know. The alien girl stepped toward the center. These are not just echoes, she said quietly. They are the voices of those who passed through before you. Each one carried the bond in their own way. Ryan's gaze followed the drifting shapes. He wondered who they had been, what they had seen, and whether any of them had understood the spiral of light he had been shown. Can they hear us? He asked. Not as you think, she replied. But they can sense when a new voice joins them. He felt a strange shiver at her words, though nothing in her tone suggested fear. It was more like she was speaking about a welcome rather than a warning. She turned to face him fully. When you stand here, the room may speak back. If it does, you will know the bond's first truth. Ryan took a slow step toward the center of the room, feeling the warmth in his chest grow stronger. The sound in the air shifted slightly, and one of the faint light shapes on the wall began to glow brighter. He wasn't sure if he was ready for what might come next, but somehow, he knew he had to find out. Ryan stood in the center of the listening room, his eyes fixed on the glowing outline on the wall. The shape was faint, but it felt as though it was looking directly at him. The sound in the air deepened, a soft, resonating tone that seemed to pass through his chest. The alien girl remained by the edge of the room, her gaze calm but attentive. "Let it find you," she said quietly. Ryan closed his eyes for a moment, trying to focus on the sound. It wasn't just one note. There were layers, delicate threads of tone weaving together. Somewhere within them, he thought he could hear something like a voice. Though it was faint and distant, the warmth in his chest grew, not uncomfortable, but steady, as if the bond she had spoken of was answering the call. Slowly, the voice became clearer, forming words that weren't in any language he knew, yet he understood them all the same. "You are the newest," it said, "but you are not the first." Ryan opened his eyes, startled to find that the glowing outline had moved closer, as if it had stepped out of the wall. The figure was still indistinct, made of shifting light, but it held a presence, calm, knowing, and impossibly old. "You walk a path that others shaped before you," the voice continued, "but the turns will be yours to make." Ryan wanted to ask who those others had been, but the figure seemed to sense the question before it was spoken. "They were bonds as you are now. Some stepped forward, some turned away. All were changed." The alien girl took a slow step forward, her silver eyes watching both Ryan and the figure. "The bond does not force," she said softly, almost as if she was speaking to both of them. "It offers." The figure's glowing edges flickered, faintly like a nod. Then its voice shifted in tone, becoming slightly warmer. "When the spiral opens, you will see what lies beyond. But the spiral does not open to the unready." Ryan felt the air in the room grow lighter, almost as if a breeze had passed through. Though nothing in the space had moved, the glowing figure stepped back toward the wall, its form beginning to fade. "Listen," it said as its light dimmed. "Not to what you are told, but to what answers you in silence." The light shapes on the wall returned to their soft, shifting patterns, and the deeper tone in the air softened into the gentle hum of the station. Ryan turned to the alien girl. "That was real, wasn't it? Not just something the room made." "Me see." Her expression was thoughtful. "The room shows nothing that does not already exist. The question is not whether it is real, but whether you will believe it." He glanced back at the wall, his mind still replaying the voice's words. "And if I don't, then the spiral will never open for you," she said simply. They left the listening room in silence, stepping back into the softly lit corridor. The stars beyond the glass dome above the hall seemed brighter now, as if watching. The warmth in Ryan's chest remained, but it carried a new weight. The sense that something was waiting for him, patient but inevitable. The alien girl walked a few steps ahead before glancing back at him. "The spiral will call again. When it does, the choice will be yours alone." Ryan knew then that whatever journey he had started wasn't something he could walk away from easily. Something had seen him, spoken to him, and now it was only a matter of time before the path reveal. At itself,